56-10 is the final. Michigan is dominant in its win against Hawaii tonight. And, of course, the big storyline heading into the game, Sam Webb, was J.J. McCarthy. The chosen one was getting his first start. And, boy, did he live up to it. A near flawless performance. I believe his only incompletion was a drop pass. 3 touchdowns on the night, over 200 yards passing. I mean, let's just dive right in. Give me your initial thoughts on what just transpired tonight.
I thought it was a perfect performance. His only ball was a drop, or his only incompletion was a drop. I thought that for a guy who you wanted to see how he dealt with the moment, because as I've been saying, broken record, the moment is applying more pressure than the opponent in games like these. And Colorado State, are they better than Hawaii? Sure, but not much. I mean, what did they lose? The MTSU tonight. So that was a bad team too. But you saw, I think, that the competition have an impact on Cade. And I thought we saw that tonight. It didn't. JJ. I mean, from his first downfield pass, as you got a Roman Wilson running wide open down the field, he hung it up a little, right. But that's just to make sure that he didn't overthrow it. But that was what stuck out to me in his early balls. Every single pass gave the receiver a chance for yak. I mean, that's the key. Ball placement. It's not just the completion. It's do you allow your receivers an opportunity to do something with the football? He did that time and time again in this game. And then the pass down the sideline, the fade ball to Donovan. Again, over a defender. Well-placed ball. But the plays that really stand out to you, the post to CJ.
Absolutely.
That was one, and we talked to Jason Avant about it. He said because he got to it late, but his arm was so good that he made it happen. And then to see him step up in the fight. To see him step up in the fight and make, we hear Devin, we hear Al Boyd just say, oh, Devin got it from Al Boyd. Just get in the fight. Get in the fight. Step up in the pocket because things open up when you do that. And JJ did that tonight. To me, I have been saying that this was 2 things that I have to revise. One of them is that, hey, if this competition went deep into October, middle of October, it'd be fine. I mean, that's fine. No, that it can't. I said before this game, it can't go that long because I think that impacts Cade too much. But when you see a game like this, where the disparity is so stark, where JJ is near perfect, and Cade struggled mightily in this game.
4 series, no first downs, an interception to end the night.
I mean, think about this. The only 3 and out that JJ had during the game was the one where he had the drop and then the near fumble by Ronnie.
Right.
Every other drive was a touchdown.
Right. And
then Cade came in and he had back-to-back 3 and outs. I mean, didn't move the team at all.
I'm not going to say it's all him, but
it's not all him. But Davis Warren got in after that, and they went right down the field. And one of them was a play where he attacks right down the middle of the field with pressure over defenders. And that is something that, as I look at the differences between quarterbacks, that's one of the things that I see. The propensity to attack down the middle of the field against zone, the ability to attack the field, when that is what is wide open because you got the arm to do it. And then I'd be remiss if I didn't mention, man, the receivers. There just seemed to be.
You got to get them the ball.
You got to get them the ball, and it just seemed like all the guys felt like I might get the ball on this. I don't know if you noticed that, but that's how it felt to me watching it. Like you just felt like all the guys felt like it's a chance I get it on this play.
It's a matter of if I get open, I think JJ's going to find me, and you saw that with the route running tonight. Guys were it just seemed like a cleaner routes, a cleaner system. Just everything moved so fluid tonight.
Yeah. So look, I don't think Cade he's not as bad as he looked.
I agree with
in this game or the Colorado State game. I think the pressure, the competition is clearly impacting him. So, but what do these games say to me? What they say to me is last year is his ceiling. Last year was pretty good. Last year was good. They were Big Ten champions. They went to the playoff. But the charge this year is to go a level beyond, to elevate the offense. What quarterback can elevate the offense in a way that makes it more of a national championship contender. And I think what we've seen is that the guy more capable of doing that is J.J. McCarthy. I know you say it's just Hawaii, but Cade played Hawaii too.
I don't think we have to say it's just Hawaii. I think segue to sort of our next topic. Jim Harbaugh was asked that in the next game, who's the starter next game at least, and he already addressed that JJ is going to be the starter against UConn. And again, it doesn't say he's going to be the starter the rest of the season, but again, UConn is no better than what the first two teams they played, so it's probably going to be a similar performance. And I don't think that he's going to start playing this game once they get in the Big Ten season.
No.
So you really have to. I would say it's safe to assume. I think is that this is JJ's time.
Yes.
He just took it tonight with that performance. He just showed all the capabilities of how much better this team can be.
I think you gotta read. But I mean, Jim also said Cade played well last week. I mean, I
don't think he's trying to throw his quarterback under the
bus.
bus.
Right. And so, how do I interpret him saying JJ is the starter next week? And he sort of punted. He didn't answer the question about what about beyond. I think that's a head coach not telling the media what his thoughts are about that before he tells. Okay, and look, he owes him that. But you can't watch what we saw tonight and think that this is a battle. I mean, the gap was so wide tonight that Davis Warren came in and performed better than Cade. And that's not a disparagement as much as I say it's the competition offers diminishing returns with Cade. Right. I think it impacts him too much. So you aren't gonna get greater. It's not like all of a sudden there's gonna be this miraculous parting of the seas in performance from him as long as this lingers.
Right.
Yeah, so I think at least to me, what I'm doing is I'm trying to make sure that I keep him engaged, because anything can happen. Injuries happen. I mean, you just, and I'm not speaking that into existence.
Absolutely. You still need,
but you got to keep him engaged. But this was too stark a difference to think that JJ's not the guy.
JJ,
he's the guy.
I thought it was very telling, and I know we're going a little long here, but it's exciting times here right now because we're talking about JJ and his development. But when Harbaugh was asked about sort of the Alex Smith and Colin Kaepernick situation, it's very similar.
He leaned into that,
and he really said that how Alex was having a good year, but Colin sort of took the job, had a great Monday night performance. He said JJ's very similar, and what happened? Colin started the rest of the year, took him to the Super Bowl.
Right. So that
just says everything for me.
Yeah,
that said everything for me.
Yeah.
This is JJ's job. It's done. That we already know that if they're going to compete against a team like we saw it in the Georgia game, if you don't have a elite quarterback play, you're not going to beat those teams. And they need it to go down to Columbus this year to have a chance in that game.
Yeah, so
this is what it's all setting up. I think the writing's on the wall.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I think it was being, this is what you do. I said there's a process to replacing your quarterback. You got to give him a chance to keep the job. And then if he loses the job, you owe him telling him that before you tell the media, before you tell the outsiders. So that's what I think this was. But you're right. He leaned into that comparison. He said, man, it's very similar. Alex Smith had just led us to an NFC championship game. And Colin and he are going back and forth. And Colin gets that start on Monday night and balled out. And JJ came out here and lit it up just like that. It's like, and what happened with Colin Kaepernick? He started the rest of the way, right?
Right.
So, I mean, and you can even see it with the coaches, man. I mean, very, very small sample space. But go back and look at that Colorado State game. And just pay attention to how many RPOs or play passes they call.
He brings a different element to the
offense. And then look at the RPO play pass component tonight. And it was like the playbook opens up.
Yeah.
From a play, I mean, I'm just telling you from this perspective. They can say what they want to the media, but I'm just telling you it looks different.
And let's just put it in perspective. His only incompletion, he has one incompletion in 2 games. They score on except for one drive they haven't scored. Just very efficient. The team just reacts better. The offense is better, and this team is better. We see it. And I think we both can't wait to see it against a better team. I think that that road game at Iowa Just to foreshadow, I know there's still 2 games before that, but that's going to be the first real test. Even though Iowa's a little down this year, you just want to see it against a real team, and that's, so we got to stay patient.
Yeah, look, you do want to see, if you're Jim Harbaugh, you do want to see, can he do it back-to-back? Slightly better opponent,
right.
Not world beaters, but it's a step up.
Right.
And then once that happens, and it will happen, now you go in the Big Ten play and say, look, you don't have to look over your shoulder. He's going to throw an interception at some point. He's going to have a turnover. He's going to have a bad decision. He needs to be able to do that without thinking he's going to get yanked. That's what happens after next week. He's the guy going into Big Ten play, and then he grows up over the course of the season. And then you see, does that take you all the way to a Big Ten, back to a Big Ten championship, back to the playoff, and contending for a national championship?
Sam Webb, I'm going to certainly say this was a step in the right direction. 10 more games to go till, at least the Ohio State game and a chance to play and defend their Big Ten championship. But let's get there first. So we're going to wrap up our coverage. It was an exciting game, too. It was a late start, but hey, stay tuned for all our coverage and more on the MichiganInsider.com.